The Oracle of Luna is a podcast with me, Bridget Engels, as your host. Here we have conversations with real live, present-day goddesses who are actively and courageously doing their magical work in the world. Each episode is a bewitching journey with relevant discussions on topics such as Wiccan pagan spirituality, writing, culture, magical practices, art, ritual, and the craft in its many forms. Merry meet! Welcome to another episode of the Oracle of Luna podcast. I'm Bridget Engels, your host. And today, I am so excited to chat with the marvelous Monica Crosson. Monica is an author, master gardener, homesteader, and witch that lives in the Pacific Northwest and is a regular contributor to Llewellyn Worldwide almanacs, calendars, companion books, and the author of several books, including her new book, A Year in the Enchanted Garden. Welcome, Monica.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's spring. I'm in the garden and in my happy spots. So all's well.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, so we have a lot to unpack here. So I'm just, are you ready to just get rolling here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I just wanted to kind of start off with a basic question about your early beginnings. Like how did your interest in gardening begin?
Well, I grew up in rural Pacific Northwest, and everyone gardened. My great grandparents, my grandparents, they owned pretty good sized farms. My grandparents owned a raspberry farm. My parents gardened. We gleaned, we foraged. It was just a way of life.
Hmm, I see. What part of the Pacific Northwest?
I am near a small town called Rockport, Washington. So I'm about 2 hours northeast of Seattle,
Oh, okay.
just on near the Cascade Mountain Range, the Washington Pass.
Right. And it's near the Soak River. How do you pronounce it?
Sauk.
Sauk River,
Yes, yes,
S-A-K. Yes, I've been
yes,
there. It's beautiful.
yes.
And also very wet, a lot of moisture up there.
Very wet. Where I live in particular is actually a portion of temperate rainforest. Not a lot of people are aware of that there is more rainforest in Washington than just in the Olympics.
Oh
That the
my
North
gosh.
Cascades also has pockets of rainforest.
Oh, wow. So, I'm sure you do a lot of walks in the forest and,
Yes.
surrounded by old growth trees and evergreens. Must be really beautiful.
It is. It is. It's like I live in an enchanted forest. It's all around me all the time. So yes, it's very much a part of my life. I live seasonally and just
Right.
immerse myself in the seasons, in the rhythms of nature.
And how did that begin? Like, how did you, as a youngster, maybe start to have a spiritual connection with gardening?
Well, actually, it started with, I was raised as a gardener, but the spiritual connection actually started with my grandfather. He was my step grandfather, and he was from the South, the Appalachian region. And I remember one of my first memories of talking about gardening with him was he said he gardened by the phases of the moon. And so in my head, I was thinking, well, how is he doing that? How is he going outside at night
Yeah.
and planting on just under the light of the moon? And but then it was explained, but he's the one who taught me how to save seeds. He really, yeah, just immerse me into that and some of the folklore and
Mm.
stuff that he grew up with, which was
Yeah.
very cool. And then as I got older, I came into connection with an older woman. She was an eccentric that had kind of escaped Seattle and was living up in my area. Her name was Stella, and she was also a practicing witch. So she's the one who
Ah.
kind of connected to me to the power of plants and the magic and that that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, which was
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
And she passed away when I was in my early 20s, but she, yeah, was just very much always with me
Yeah. It
in
sounds like
spirit.
she was
So
quite inspiring to you.
she was the one who would take me out and like I said, taught me about the essence of the plants, what they do spiritually, medicinally, all that kind of stuff that I
Ah.
didn't necessarily get growing up,
Mhm.
where that was more like this is sustenance and food.
Right.
And it was, done that way.
Yeah, and so did you study at a university gardening or
No, I
permaculture?
actually I went to college to be a writer. And then I dropped out of college because I needed to work and thought I was going to go back and then never did. I got
Ah,
married, raised babies, and here we are.
yeah. But you've come full circle, right? Almost,
Right,
it
right.
sounds
I
like.
actually didn't even start my writing career until my kids were almost raised. My youngest was a teenager. So
Ah,
so yeah, I kind of just immersed myself obviously in the gardening, living off the land, homesteading and raising my kids, which I mostly homeschooled. There were
wow.
times when they were in the public school system, but
Mhm. Uh-huh. So homesteading, when I think of homesteading, I think of, okay, here's a plot of land. Let's build a log cabin and dig our garden and dig our well. I mean, did you have to do all that or was that
yeah, we pretty much did. We didn't build a log cabin. What we did was we built a barn.
ah,
So that was step one. And we did our own well, we did our own septic. We, that where I live along the Sauk, it's just sand. So I had to create soil, for to plant in. You just,
right.
it was basically a field. And yeah, we've transformed it over the last 20 years.
I'm just amazed that you know how to do all that stuff. Like,
Yeah,
but
it's a learning process. You just kind of figure it out. And it was
yeah.
kind of the fun of it too. And it was a family affair. I mean, my kids, I mean, the things they did when they were little, I mean, we would have them up on these tall beams, and just hammering and things that, like my kids were just immersed into it, digging holes. I mean, we all did it, and
Yeah.
it was all learning, and I think they're better for it. I mean, they were definitely, as adults even, they're workers, they're doers, and they're outside and enjoying nature,
Mhm.
and it's just how I raised them. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
That's wonderful. And then you're also, I'm sure you're part of a coven or circle or
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, I actually started when my kids were small, and we were part of a homeschool group that would meet. Um, so it's funny that it's like you come into these groups and you're thinking that you're not that you're I thought always thought that I was the one that was going to be different, but as I come into this group there were a lot of us that were like-minded. So we started a coven then, and of course it's evolved and changed, but there are some of the original members who are still there. We consider ourselves solitary practitioners, but we come together, so we try to once a month, but
Mhm.
and then for the Sabbats, like Yule or in bulk or whatever, we get together and we kind of do more fun things.
Yeah.
So So yeah.
Are they are all into gardening, magical gardening as well?
They are. It's like, we're all very much like-minded. We talk about the garden. Sometimes we're bringing plants and seeds, things like that together. It's a good group of women, and at this point, some of them went to school with my children, the ones, who are in there now. So we
Yeah.
have all ages, so it's great.
Oh, that's incredible. Mm,
Yeah.
You're really kind of inspiring a younger generation to get out there and garden as well, it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah. I enjoy it. As a master gardener, that was one of the things I did was that I taught young families and food insecure families in particular, because here in Washington State, the EBT cards, which a lot of people refer to as food stamps,
Mhm.
a lot of people don't know that those also can be used to buy gardening supplies, such as seeds, plants, things like that. So
Yeah.
what I did was I taught families like, let's buy a tomato plant and how to
Right.
plant it, and that you can have tomatoes all year, simple things like that that can be grown on in pots on balconies,
Right.
things like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
To encourage people to grow their own food is such a worthwhile and important um thing to do, I believe, right now, or anytime
Oh,
actually.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. And also, I did talks at schools too, encouraging kids to
Yeah.
plant and how to plant. And yeah, so it's always fun.
Yeah, that's excellent. So you obviously have written so many books and you just came out with a new book. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your new book, A Year in the Enchanted Garden, Cultivating the Witch's Soul with Spells, Crafts, and Garden Know-How?
So with this book, what I wanted to do, because there are so many, like herbal books and garden witchery type of books out there, I thought I could do something that would take someone through the entire year, month by month, and write it in such a way. The way I like to write is I kind of want to every book I consider a journey. I'm taking you on a journey, and this one is through the Garden Gate, and just immerse you in the magic of every month, and then also kind of add what you can do, with your magical plants, and just make it also a gardening guide from vision boards in January to, starting seeds in March, all the way through. And every every section is divided into several chapters where we discuss um, the herbs and flowers associated, or which that I choose to associate with those months. I try to give a guide at the end, and just some great information depending on the month. And I don't know, I just wanted to make it fun, simple to use,
Yeah.
and just like at the end of each chapter, I try to kind of expand regionally. I mean, we all live in different
Yeah,
areas.
I was just going to bring
I
that up. Like how a lot of us live in arid, dry zones. I mean, how do we garden? Or somebody in a very cold or hot area, how do they garden? Or, you know?
Well, I tried to separate in the end. Obviously, I mean, I'm born and raised in the Pacific Northwest,
Yeah.
so I know the four seasons, and I know the four different kinds of rain, attached to those for our four seasons. But so what I try to do is there's different gardening zones. And so the smaller the number of a gardening zone, and you can find a gardening zone map anywhere, like online, just look it up, look up your region, and you'll see if you're in a cold region, it's going to be like a 2 or a 3. And as you go south, it's going to warm up. You're going to hit bigger numbers. In Washington State, where I am, we're anywhere from a 7 to an 8, which is just average.
Mhm.
Um, you are probably like a zone, I'm going to say probably a 9 to 10 where you are.
Mhm.
So, what I tried to do at the end of the book is I tied the zones into specific gardening tasks.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you're in, like, if it's November, where I'm at, the garden's done unless you're using a greenhouse or something. But if
Right.
you're in a warmer climate, then I put what you most likely would be doing. It's hard to hit on what everybody would be doing for sure, you
Yeah.
know, because of micro regions and things like that. The way I garden is different than how people garden 5 miles up the road from me because I live in a micro region that, I have a little more wind possibly, or I have a little more rain. It just depends on where you're at. So,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that's just about getting to know your garden.
yeah, I remember, planting a couple gardens, once in the Pacific Northwest and once in Northern California. And I was so proud of myself. I remember getting the seeds or the starter plants and planting and getting the soil prepped and everything, kind of based on, YouTube or wherever other
Sure.
references, guides I could, get my hands on. But both of them, I woke up one morning and the deer came through and ate them both.
Oh, yeah.
It was so disheartening. So now I just plant herbs and, smaller potted gardens, garden plants or tomatoes and see
Yeah.
how it goes. But
Yeah. I
the
mean,
deer, I mean,
those
it's
are those are some of the hazards. I have dogs, so the deer kind of stay away. But I
yeah,
remember one year I planted a ton of daffodil bulbs into my grass, hoping for the spring to have this beautiful yard of blooming daffodils. And I didn't because the voles had eaten everything.
the voles,
So
like squirrels.
the voles, they're little ground creatures like
Oh, right.
moles,
Moles.
but
Yeah,
they're
moles.
tiny.
Okay.
A shrew, kind of.
Ah,
Yeah. So they ate them, and but yeah, there's disappointments, and it's a journey. It's a learning
yeah,
curve. It's
definitely. Trial and error for me anyway.
it definitely.
Well, I'm so impressed with this book. I'm not a master gardener, but I love the correspondence to all the witchy things, all the like zodiac and what the, magical correspondences of plants and, the lunar aspects, lunar planting. I thought that was
Yeah.
incredible. The history, there's historical celebrations around the sabbats and the seasons. I mean, it's just so full of stuff. I mean, you've got a lot of folklore and spells and magic.
I tried to tuck in as much as I could,
Yeah.
and um,
It
just to make
shows.
a fun read and a nice little reference book that's kind of like,
Right.
hey, I need some ritual ideas. Let me go here. Hey, here, I would love like in the back of my book, I have a list of all the plants that I, mention in the book and just give
Mhm.
quick guide to their magical uses.
S What makes a garden enchanting?
Well, I think it's the intention that the gardener, the witch, the practitioner puts into it. Um, it's it's how you work with the soil. It's how you lay it out and how you make it for you. I mean, and it doesn't have to be, and that's the thing about enchanted gardens. It's what's enchanting to you. If you whatever you want, it doesn't matter if the neighbor likes it or if it's magazine ready. If you love it and you have nurtured your plants and put love into this sacred space, and then it's enchanting. That's as simple
Yeah.
as it is. I mean, it's like not everybody who's going to go into my yard is going to think it's like, oh my gosh, Monica, this is so enchanting. They're not, but I do.
Yeah.
And I know what I've put into it. I make my moon water. I know which plants are, what I have a relationship with my plants and what it's like they tell you what your needs are
Yeah.
almost,
Sometimes I do,
and
like, go by intuition, like, with
yeah,
like, planning, like, maybe flowers by color, just because I like color. So I,
right,
kinda have planted or plant my flowers by color.
definitely.
It's definitely using your intuition, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. And well, it's even like, and we all do. You'll go into any herbal book, um, and you're going to find correspondence, and they're going to
Yeah.
say, okay, this is for protection, this is for
Yeah.
luck, this is for fertility. But in the end, to me, it's like, what does that plant say to you? Um, this
Mhm.
is the plant that you've developed a relationship with. Not everything yellow or orange has to be for strength or, like a
Yeah.
bright sun. They can be for
Sure.
whatever you you believe that this plant. I mean, to me, it's all based on intuition. I try to give just simple correspondence, but in the end, and I think I tried to make it clear in the book that this is your magic,
Right.
and this is your relationship with your plants in your space. Use it, your magic, as you see fit.
Right. So, yeah, we can weave our magic into our own gardens by using our intuition, using reference guides, but ultimately it's how we feel, how can we make it enchanting or sacred for ourselves wherever we're at.
Right, right, exactly.
So, can you talk a little bit about how to garden or plant with the moon's energy? I know tomorrow's the solar eclipse. I'm wondering if
Yeah.
there's any kind of special gardening we can do on an eclipse.
Well, it's in my area, I'm not going to see it. It's just going to be, I think, a little
Yeah,
tiny bite of sun.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
So,
however you think, yeah, uh, some people think it's like something you should avoid. Others are into it. I'm going to just treat it as a normal day personally.
mhm,
When I garden, and if we're talking about lunar garden in particular, um, I try to keep it pretty simple.
mhm,
And it's, um, to me, I mean, there are, and I think I give like several examples on how to use like lunar energy in gardening.
right.
But the simplest, easiest way, and especially since we're all like very busy nowadays,
Yeah.
um, is that just remember that anything between a new moon and a full moon, you're going to do for that growth and for the leafy tops, for your flowers, for your annuals. Um, so anything above ground, and if you're going to plant, if you want to work on, say, root development, plants that bear crops underground, say an onion, garlic, beets, things like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And your perennials, things, because a perennial is a plant that's going to come back yearly. You're going to want to work on root development. So that would be, using the dark moon, full to dark
Oh,
moon for
okay.
that.
Okay.
Um, Other ways people can put into it's like you want to like work with earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Those are very fertile signs, and those are also great for planting root crops and for transplanting, things like that. Water signs are a wonderful time to plant anything, but especially your leafy greens, flowering plants, very fertile sign, obviously.
Yeah.
Your air signs are for harvesting and cultivation, and your fire signs are basically for weeding and harvesting. So you can go that
Oh,
route too.
yeah, by the zodiac. I see.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I know just from my own experience that I like to plant like herbs, rosemary, mint, lavender, and those are actually doing pretty well here in the desert right
Oh,
now.
I'll bet.
Yeah, they're just starting to really kind of go for it. And I just think it's really interesting that to see the energy of the plant bloom and blossom. I think I planted those. Gosh, I planted those a few weeks ago, and so
Oh,
and
nice.
then my
Nice.
my older ones are coming back. In the geraniums that I planted last year in May are really kicking butt right now. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
For me, like my rosemary is basically an annual. But then, like I said, with the 3 miles up the road, actually, let's say 5 miles up the road here at my daughter's house, they're they can grow them like a shrub, and they won't die off. But for
right.
me, the rosemary, if I don't bring it in, it's going to die.
Okay.
Uh,
Huh.
even it's just because like where the sun hits for me in the winter, it kind of
Yeah.
creeps behind a hill, so it's pretty dark. So which makes
Yeah.
it quite a bit colder in the winter.
Right.
So
Right.
so yeah, but I do have my lavenders creeping back right now.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
still look sad. I a lot of my stuff I'm just planting seeds now. I have seeds up and but I'm just starting. I'm amending my soil right now. Actually, I bought a whole bunch of compost and I am redoing beds. I had to take down a greenhouse, which was really sad.
Oh,
And
wow.
I know it
Ugh, it's a
was one
big
of the
job.
first things we built. So,
Oh,
but yeah, out there. I'm right now. I'm in the darkest before the dawn
yeah.
kind of
Right.
phase of
I
gardening.
remember
So
that.
I'm looking around. Yeah,
Uh,
it's just a lot of work.
but, there is something like you can mm, plant vegetables year round. Like, say you wanted to
Sure.
plant something in the winter, like, I don't know, maybe kale or something like that you could
Yep.
plant. Or,
I do kale, Brussels sprouts, spinach. Sometimes I do a second batch of radishes if I'm in the mood, carrots. I just use row covers. And I have a greenhouse, another one that's a poly urethane greenhouse. And I plant things in there in the winter, which it works really great.
yeah.
It's just working with the seasons and not
Right.
fighting, don't that's the other thing. It's like there are certain things that you can grow that are going to be amazing. They're not going to be so amazing for me. So I find the
Yeah.
things that, you know, that are going to be great for me. The mugwort and talking about like plants, maybe like having it's like a sign to me when they start like just going crazy. It's like, hey, you're going to need me this year. And
Oh,
this year it's the mugwort. I have been that is everywhere. I am moving little baby
wow.
plants, and my mama plant is gigantic, and so I'm kind of curious to
Huh,
see what she has in store for me this
that's
year.
cool. Like how they
I'll be
how
doing
so
some dream work.
yeah, there you go. Some psychic, inner
Yeah.
work.
Yes.
It's really
Exactly.
I think it's really incredible how herbs and plants and flowers, how they, take off and how their magic can influence us just by being powerful.
Yes.
Their
Definitely.
their essence,
Definitely. Yeah, yes.
so
Yeah,
impactful.
I definitely do a lot of drying of herbs. I use them. I'm not I do like some medicinal stuff. I made a whole bunch of tinctures
Mm,
this last fall, and I've been
right.
giving them out because it's like, oh, I have a whole medicine cabinet here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like I use my herbs to make soap. I wildcraft for things like that too. Um, yeah. So it's not it but well, that's another thing talking about what grows around you. Native gardening is a
Yeah.
wonderful way to get into gardening. It's going to bring in the
Yeah.
pollinators. It's going to be wonderful, and you're pretty much guaranteed that they're going to grow because they already love it in that
Yeah.
area or
Yeah.
your area. So I always tell people to get to know your region, like get to know the plants
Exactly.
that are around you
Exactly.
and know them by name. Say
Mhm.
hi to them. Know them season by season. Can you tell the difference between how they look in the summer and how they look in the winter? Their magic is going to be different too. So,
And, it just takes us back to the cunning folk and the hedge witches and green witches of the past who walked between the worlds and they know their plants, they know the medicinal qualities, they know, work with lunar gardening.
right.
Does that kind of resonate with you?
Oh, it does. And like I said, my friend Stella introduced me to that. Fascinated. Also, and my grandfather, he did all of that. He would be out there and talking about a plant, and it would be like, a weed, what most people would consider a weed, and he would talk about it by name and what you use it for.
Yeah.
And I wish I had recordings of both of them, and I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. So, what are some of your upcoming plans for the future? Like, do you have any
I am right now
workshops
working
or?
on, well, I'm not doing any workshops right now. I'm actually working on a cabin on my property so I can do
Mm,
future workshops at my home, which
yeah.
I think will be really fun. I'm also kind of taking a break from nonfiction and working on my fiction. I have a
Yeah.
series of stories that are going to be fairy tales for what would be considered older women. So, and I'm
Yay.
kind of taking, like, my first one is about someone at the turning 50,
Mhm.
and it's kind of based on the Robin Hood tales, a little bit of Cronunnos in there. And then I'm also writing about Tam Lin and retelling that tale with um, an older lady, and then we're going to get into
Yeah.
Selkies.
Wow, that's interesting. I love that.
Yeah,
Very
I'm
cool.
having
And
fun doing that.
and
So,
where you are, I just have to say, is very magical. I've walked that around that river trail, the Sauk River, and really
oh
had
yeah,
some pretty close connection with fairies myself out there.
oh definitely.
I thought I saw a Sasquatch just out of the corner of my eye. Maybe I was just seeing something else, but I do think there's a very special energy where you're at in the nature.
I totally agree with you. They're like, I have so many stories
Yeah.
of the different the connections that out there. I mean, just with the land, the spirits of the
Yeah.
land. It's pretty intense.
There's
It
some
is.
deep magic up there for
Oh,
sure.
definitely, definitely. So
Before we close, I just want to make sure that our listeners have your website. What is your website?
it's author monicacrosson.com.
Okay. And where can they learn more about you? On social media or?
I'm on TikTok as
Okay.
Witchy Writer One, the numeral one, and I'm on Instagram as Monica Crosson. Those are my two main socials. I don't really use my Facebook much, but yeah, that's where you can find me.
Okay. All
And
right.
I answer anybody who messages me. I always answer, so I
Oh,
encourage
that's
that.
good. Well, it has been delightful chatting with you today. And I just, thank you for your passion for gardening and your dedication to Mother Nature and inspiring us all to connect with the wheel of the year and gardening in a magical way. So thank
Well,
you.
thank you. Yes,
Blessed
yes.
be. And to my listeners, please check out Monica's new book, A Year in the Enchanted Garden, and have a lovely spring and best wishes for everybody's gardening experiences. So,
Well,
anyway,
thank you for having me.
yes, absolutely. It's been delightful chatting with you. I I don't know if you remember, but I kind of remember meeting you at East West Bookstore in Seattle a long time ago.
Yes,
So,
I remember that. I have your books, by the way, on my shelf that I
oh,
use.
thank you. Yeah, I just came out with a new one this year, or 2023 for lunar eclipses.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah, I work a lot with lunar energy and eclipse energy. So,
Okay.
yeah. So, anyway, there you go. Blessed be and happy spring, and I guess
Happy
walk
spring.
walk with the goddess.
Well,
So,
thank you.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.